Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you guys can see, we are in the shop today and we're going to immediately jump right into a shop update. And what that shop update is going to be basically putting a air hose reel, and we're going to attach it to the side of our air compressor. It's down here over on the ground, and you guys can actually see this angle iron that I've already bolted in. And yeah, so basically what we're going to be doing is making space because I'm sick of that air hose reel being on the ground. And the reason it's on the ground is because right here, this 42-inch toolbox and the locker and the 15 and 27, we showed you that stuff a couple videos ago. Well, that moved everything down. And as you guys can see, our 2x10 on the back wall will no longer fit. And I kind of want to make this whole thing kind of mobile. I know it's not really mobile being on the air compressor, but I don't really have enough room to stick it all the way back there. So I'm just going to stick it on the side of here. And if this doesn't work, not a bigger deal. It's just some plate steel that I had laying around from a previous project. Actually, the feet extensions for this project for the toolbox. So what we're doing today is basically cleaning up the shop and creating the bracketry for the air hose reel. And so far what I've done is I've actually taken that plate steel that we were just talking about. I've marked it for the 4 holes for the bracket, you know, to mount this to that bracket. And then you guys can see that piece of tape. Well, that piece of tape was basically on there to see, hey, how much clearance are we going to have with this thing sticking off the side of the air compressor? And we have like about a 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch. So, hey, 1/4 inch is a 1/4 inch. So basically what we're doing is taking this square plate, we're going to take it over here, we're going to weld it to this angle iron that we have here. And I think we should be good. 1/4 inch steel on the angle iron. It's 1/4 inch plate, so this thing should be plenty strong. And this thing weighs, I don't know, maybe 40 pounds. It's not super heavy, but it's also not super light. So I thought about using some thinner materials, but honestly guys, the 1/4 inch stuff is what I have the most of. And that's pretty much kind of what makes sense for this project. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these 4 holes drilled, and I'm gonna have to get that unbolted, get that cleaned up, and get ready to weld all this stuff up. All right guys, we have gotten the plate drilled and all the bolts on here. These are all grade 8 bolts from General Motors. So if it can hold a motor together, I think it can hold a little hose reel up. So yeah, just using our old stock, we put some washers behind it. Got this plate on there, and yeah, that's pretty much ready to go on the side of the compressor here. And you know, I kind of want to place it on there just to see where we should put it, because right now, you know, I want to make sure that this thing is like not in the way, if that makes sense. I don't want to put it too far back. I also don't want to put it too far forward. So I kind of want to find just the right spot. So alright guys, we might have done a little bit excessive amount of welding on here, but you know, since we're in here, we might as well make it as strong as we can. I added another plate just to make our angle bracket a little bit longer, and that way we have more of the weight of the hose reel on, you know, on both parts. It's not all just on this one 2-inch piece of plate, you know. So I'm going to clean this up with an angle grinder. Don't worry about that, guys. But yeah, so we've got our 4 holes. We've got our hole up here. This thing actually is ready to mount, but I want to get this thing cleaned up, get it angle grinded, clean it, paint it, and then we should be able to install it. All right, guys, I spent probably the last, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes cleaning this thing up. And basically all I was doing was cutting down the sharp edges. And this was actually plasma cut from the previous video that we did when we made the legs. So I just went ahead and cleaned up these edges. Obviously, you guys can still see where the plasma cutter burned through. Just cleaned it up as much as I really cared about. Because honestly, guys, this is gonna be painted and it's gonna be back behind the air compressor. We literally will never see this again. So, some quick cleanup. Like I said, knock down the sharp edges and getting rid of some plasma cutter slag, and that's about it. So let's go ahead and shoot a couple layers of paint on here. I think what we're gonna do is I've got some old base coat from the GMT 800 from that, so actually the Sierra 2500. Throw that on here and then I'll throw some black over that. All right, guys, I just put the last layer of paint on the mount for the hose reel. You guys can see we have it hanging from our little paint station, if that's what you want to call it. Yeah, it's just a sawhorse with a bungee cord on it. And yeah, so you guys can see we've got a nice gloss coat of black paint on there. We've got 2 layers of dark spiral gray metallic and then 1 layer of the gloss black. Just an easy way of saving and conserving paint, and also getting rid of a bunch of old stuff because I haven't had the Sierra in over 2 years, and I still have touch-up paint from it. So yeah, I just want to get rid of that stuff. And yeah, this is definitely a good way to do that. Just doing some metalworking projects, and use your top coat to be your final coat of what you want it to be. And there you go. So we're gonna let this sit overnight and give it a good 24 hours for that to dry, because I've found anytime you paint metal and you kind of start working with it within an hour or two, it's not fully dry. I want all that stuff. There's like 3 layers of paint on there. I want all that to dry fully. We'll pick this up tomorrow and we'll finish up the install by hanging the hose reel onto our air compressor. All right, guys, we finally got that air hose reel mounted. And as you guys can see, it is mounted to our air compressor, and we still have access to our little power button, so we just turn it on. And so yeah, no major issue there. Everything's in. And I've got about a finger width between the air hose here and our toolbox. Maybe I'll do a little bit more research and see if there is a tighter 90-degree fitting coming out of an air hose reel. I imagine there's got to be situations where, you know, it's an immediate 90, not a reducer, another adapter, another 90, and then down. So, and I'll just have to do some research on my own to see if we can get a little bit more room. And actually, if you guys look, we could move this whole box down, probably another ½ inch, something like that. So it's tight, but it's not that tight. The other thing that you might notice is that we are missing something that was sitting over here, and that is our TIG welder. I have done a little bit of rearranging, and I got the 2 welders finally stacked together, and we got the air compressor. And so we got a big welding cart out of the way. Now, that does kind of put our drill press here kind of right in the middle. I have not been happy with this drill press pretty much since I bought it, so we might be in the market for a different one. You know, I'm not always using a drill press, and it's kind of big and in the way, so I think my next model will be a tabletop mount, and that'll just help us get even more floor space back. But for right now, just getting that welder out of the way has probably been the best upgrade that we've done. Yes, obviously getting the air hose reel off the floor is a big one, but I'm actually a little bit more happy that we got the welder out of the way. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of a shop update, organizing a little bit better, getting some stuff up off the floor, doing a little bit of fabrication and utilizing the tools that we have. Welders, bandsaws, drill press, everything. And we were able to fabricate everything from scratch. So, not a bad day's work. So if you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. But if you guys want to follow along for more shop updates, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notifications. But if you guys want to help support the channel, check out the links down below. I'll try to include you some links for that we used today. I know I bought that plate steel off Amazon. Maybe the angle iron, maybe we could find some of that for you guys. We'll drop some links down below. And maybe the paint? I don't know, but yeah, so check out all those links, and also make sure you check out our website, BonecrrusherSS.com. We do have new ZR2 merch, new Corvette merch on there, and that's gonna be it. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.